So we bought funny props to illustrate a lot of them, just to give the idea of how crazy it all is.
Where were you this morning?
We're ready.
Bill just reporting
No,
the other ones, the other two of them, he said, one he
Okay,
said that
Will,
way.
do you have enough readers?
That way he was talking about that.
We've only got the first three set up.
Okay, so we'll get you, yeah, I want to look at
We can kind of sit down and see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the sequence, but after we got a lot of
Sure. Yeah. Well, he's an open. Your show.
Or you can do anything
Are you likely biased? It's always good to have some performance.
Perry?
Jab
Perry, because of the way the cameras work out,
He's gonna be out of town. But,
just look inside. You'll
give me the
that
city,
camera.
give me a call with that. Just
see that camera?
other,
What it can see is what it can
man, I'm
see.
doing this whole bunch this week.
It'll be moving around some.
Groups having meetings.
Everything over here can be seen. Ethan's on TV right now.
Right now. But that'll work too.
But I can stop you.
Okay, well, that was.
Can I put this little guy up?
Well, some of us have to.
That's when I suggested Ross. We can kind of Ross. One day side. Some of the folks out try to write him off letter and have him here if he wants to. At least make the opportunity to see if we did give the other side a chance to appear and respond.
Well, they'll tell you that Roscoe can't, but, they'll find someone who probably can't. So they were finding people that come to high school classes last week.
I've heard many people more awards or anything.
Yeah, they're proponents, they're finding people to speak. They don't know. That's good too.
Makes it look bad.
Yeah.
That's our side look at it.
Okay, we're ready. Okay. So we're live?
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Okay, Mike, you ready? Say when.
Cliff start.
I'm first.
Go.
Okay, our group is called Healing Global Wounds. My name is Cliff Olson. This little organization or group has been here since we formed it last October after we were at the test site in Las Vegas, near Las Vegas, Nevada. There was a bunch of us that went down there for a little anti-nuclear march with the Shoshone Indians that also do this kind of thing. And it's on their land, that's why they were involved too. Anyway, that's where it came from. We were there for this test site demonstration, and when we came back, we decided as citizens and concerned people that we wanted to form an organization to make people aware. So this is an awareness group of letting people know the devastation that testing is doing. And as most of you probably know, right now there's a moratorium on testing, but July 1st, that's up for changes. And we're hearing that, and I'm not sure that's been announced yet for sure, but we're hearing that's a possibility of that changing. And the United States being leader in the world, if we go back to testing, continue testing, the rest of the world too is going to continue, and we see it as a very dangerous situation. Right now there's a lot of pollution from this. A lot of people are getting cancer. We're talking millions. One of the reasons I got interested in anti-nuclear work was I was over in Russia and met with a group over there in Kazakhstan and saw what happened over there, and the devastation is unreal. And the Russians, Soviet Union at the time, did stop testing and realized the people who got it stopped. And that's what made me see that we can do something as citizens and people that are concerned about our Earth. We can stop this, but it takes all of us to take an interest and find out what's going on and the harm that it is doing. And so I really got interested and involved in this because of that, seeing what's happening. So today what we're trying to do is get people interested and aware, and to start writing letters to our representatives, our president, whoever has anything to do with this whole thing. We should be writing letters, calling. If you want more information, we can be contacted to find out more about it. There's things that people aren't even aware of, I think, that we don't even get in the news a lot of the time. So that's what we're all about. And so I'd like to just go ahead and start the program.
Trinity, July 16th, 1945, Alamogordo, New Mexico. World War II, August 5th, 1944, Hiroshima, Japan. World War II, August 9th, 1945, Nagasaki, Japan. Operation Crossroads, Able, 6/30/46, Bikini Atoll, South Pacific. Baker, 7/24/46, Bikini. Operation Sandstone, X-Ray, 4/14/48, Entiwatok Atoll, South Pacific. Yoke, 4/30/48, Entiwatok. Zebra, 5/14/48, Entiwatok. Able, 1/27/51, Nevada Test Site. Baker, 1/28/51, Nevada Test Site. Easy, 2/1/51, Nevada Test Site. Baker 2, 2/2/51, Nevada Test Site. Fox, 2/6/51, Nevada Test Site. Operation Greenhouse. Dog, 4/7/51, Entiwatok. Easy, 4/20/51, Entiwatok. George, 5/8/51, Entiwatok. Item, 5/24/51, Entiwatok. Operation Buster. Able, 10/22/51, Nevada Test Site. Baker, 10/28/51, Nevada Test Site. Charlie, 10/30/51, Nevada Test Site. Dog, 11/1/51, Nevada Test Site. Easy, 11/5/51, Nevada Test Site. Operation Jangle. Sugar, 11/19/51, Nevada Test Site. Uncle, 11/29/51, Nevada Test Site. Operation Tumbler Snapper. Able, 4/1/51, Nevada Test Site. Baker, 4/15/52, Nevada Test Site. Charlie, 4/22/52, Nevada Test Site. Dog, 5/1/52, Nevada Test Site. Easy, 5/7/52, Nevada Test Site. Fox, 5/25/52, Nevada Test Site. George, 6/1/52, Nevada test site. Hal, 6/5/52, Nevada test site. Operation Ivy. Mike, 10/31/52, Eniwetok. King, 11/15/52, Eniwetok. Operation Upshot Knothole. Annie, 3/17/53, Nevada test site. Nancy, 3/24/53, Nevada test site. Ruth, 3/31/53, Nevada test site. Dixie, 4/6/53, Nevada test site.
Am I clear?
Ray, 4/11/53, Nevada test site. Badger, 4/18/53, Nevada test site. Simon, 4/25/53, Nevada test site. Encore, 5/8/53, Nevada test site. Harry, 5/19/53, Nevada test site. Grable, 5/25/53, Nevada test site. Climax, 6/4/53, Nevada test site. Operation Castle. Bravo, 2/28/54, Bikini Atoll, South Pacific. Romeo, 3/26/54, Bikini. Coon, 4/6/54, Bikini. Union, 4/25/54, Bikini. Yankee, 5/4/54, Bikini. Nectar, 5/13/54, Eniwetok. Operation Teapot. Wasp, 2/18/55, Nevada test site. Moth, 2/22/55, Nevada test site. Tesla, 3/1/55, Nevada test site. Turk, 3/7/55, Nevada test site. Hornet, 3/12/55, Nevada test site. Bee, 3/22/55, Nevada test site. S, 3/23/55, Nevada test site. Apple 1, 3/29/55, Nevada test site. Wasp Prime, 3/29/55, Nevada test site. High Altitude, 4/6/55, Nevada test site.
Names.
Post,
Names you're hearing in the
4/9/55, Nevada test
Names
site.
you're hearing in the background.
Met,
Will be
4/15/55, Nevada test
The
site.
U.S. alone
Apple
has
2,
exploded since
5/5/55,
1945.
Nevada
Can you
test site.
imagine that?
Zucchini,
More than 950
5/15/55, Nevada
names
test
you
site.
hear. The U.S. has exploded since
Operation Wigwam.
1945.
Wigwam,
Many of them above ground for years
5/14/55,
and years,
North
several
Pacific.
hundred above
Operation
ground.
56.
Then they went
Project
underground.
56,
And
number
for
1.
years they have been underground.
11/1/55,
General
Nevada test
Eisenhower,
site.
our president, has
Project
been quoted in
56,
a number
number
of
2.
books I've read saying to the
11/3/55,
journalists, don't
Nevada
mention
test site.
nuclear testing,
Project
don't mention
56,
thermonuclear
number 3.
war, don't mention
11/5/55,
radiation.
Nevada
We
test
don't
site.
want to confuse
Project
the public.
56,
The
number
testing
4.
went underground,
1/18/56,
out of sight,
Nevada
out
test
of
site.
mind, and that's why
Operation Red
we
Wing.
are planting bombs on the
Lacrosse.
surface of the
5,
earth today
4,
to
56,
show you what
Eniwetok.
950
Cherokee,
bombs
5/20/56,
what it
Bikini.
looks like.
Zuni,
Out of sight, out of mind.
5/27/56,
Radiation,
Bikini.
invisible,
Zuma,
death spiral,
5/27/56,
radiation,
Eniwetok.
tasteless, smell
Erie,
odorless, makes no
5/30/56,
noise, and yet we
Eniwetok.
die of
Seminole,
cancer.
6,
We die of
6/56,
AIDS. We
Eniwetok.
die of
Platinum,
immune
6,
deficiencies.
11,
We die from all
56,
kinds of
Bikini.
diseases long
Blackfoot,
before our
6,
time.
11/56,
Radiation,
Eniwetok.
invisible death spiral,
Kickapoo,
circles around our
6/13/56,
planet.
Eniwetok.
Because Russia explodes
Osage,
bombs, and France explodes
6,
bombs,
16,
and many other
56,
countries are ready to
Eniwetok.
explode bombs.
Inca,
And every
6,
time
21,
radiation leaks
56,
into the
Eniwetok.
atmosphere, it goes
Dakota,
around the planet.
6/25/56,
We are all
Bikini.
downwinders.
Mohawk,
All of us
7/2/56,
downwinders.
Eniwetok.
Listen to the
Apache,
names
7,
of the
8,
bombs.
56, Eniwetok. Navajo, 7, 10, 56, Bikini. Tiwa, 7, 20, 56, Bikini. Huron, 7/21/56, in Awaytalk.
Project 57, number 1, 4/24/57, Bombing Range, Nevada. Operation Plum Bomb, Boltzmann, 5/28/57, Nevada Test Site. Franklin, 6/2/57, Nevada Test Site. Layson, 6/5/57, Nevada Test Site. Wilson, 6/18/57, Nevada Test Site. Wilson, 6/18/57, Nevada Test Site. Priscilla, 6/24/57, Nevada Test Site.
I'm a
Colum,
woman,
A.
old enough to be a grandmother.
7/1/57,
I have 4
Nevada
young
Test
adult
Site.
children,
Hood,
and it is because of them that I have gotten politically
Nevada
active.
Test Site. Diablo,
My heart goes out to the generations that are to succeed us.
7/15/57, Nevada Test Site.
I'm growing toward old
John,
age, and if I'm lucky, I'm going to have a ripe old
7/19/57,
age.
Nevada
But my children may not
Kepler,
have as much of a chance as I,
7/24/57,
because
Nevada
radiation
Test
affects
Site.
us all.
Owens,
I went to the Nevada test site
7/25/57,
twice last year.
Nevada Test
I've never
Site.
done anything like that
Haskell,
before,
A.
but I couldn't sit still any longer.
7/26/57,
I had to stick my
Nevada
neck
Test
out.
Site.
I had to go
Stokes,
see for myself what it's like.
8/7/57,
And I
Nevada
learned
Test
that our
Site.
government plays games with
Saturn,
us.
8,
Lots of games.
10/57,
and I don't
Nevada
like it.
Test Site. Shasta, 8/18/57, Nevada Test Site. Doppler, 8/23/57, Nevada Test Site. Pascal B, 8/27/57, Nevada Test Site. Franklin Prime, 8/30/57, Nevada Test Site. Smoky, 8/31/57, Nevada Test Site. Galileo, 9/2/57, Nevada Test Site. Wheeler, 9/6/57, Nevada Test Site. Column B, 9/6/57, Nevada Test Site. Laplace, 9/8/57, Nevada Test Site. Fizeau, 9/14/57, Nevada Test Site. Newton, 9/16/57, Nevada Test Site. Rainier, 9/19/57, Nevada Test Site. Whitney, 9/23/57, Nevada Test Site. Charleston, 9/28/57, Nevada Test Site. Morgan, 10/7/57, Nevada Test Site. Project 58, Pascal C, 12/6/57, Nevada Test Site. Column C, 12/9/57, Nevada Test Site. Project 58.
My experiences at the test
Venus,
sites
2/22.
were so overwhelming.
58, Nevada
The
Test
only
Site.
way I knew to deal with
Uranus,
them was to express
3/14/58,
myself through
Nevada
writing
Test Site.
and through art.
Operation
I want to
Hardtack
read a
1,
poem that
Yucca,
came to me after I got home.
4/28,
As I looked at my
58,
journal
North
that I
Pacific.
wrote one night in the dark
Cactus,
of a full moon
5/5,
desert
58,
evening,
and Awaytalk.
I was reflecting on the
Fur,
day before
5/11,
when I had walked
58,
and walked
Bikini
along
Atoll.
Route 95.
Butternut,
A sword
5/11,
slicing the desert for
58,
cars and
and
trucks and
Awaytalk.
buses and people barreling nowhere,
5,
kicking
12,
dust in our faces,
58, and
blindly
Awaytalk.
racing past the
Wahoo,
site of another
5,
nuclear
16,
blast.
58,
Out of
and
sight,
Awaytalk.
out of mind,
Holly,
the
5,
government counts on our
20,
handicapped
58,
souls,
and Awaytalk.
technological
Nutmeg,
deafness.
5,
We can't hear the
21,
earth
58,
moan. We won't
Bikini.
voice her cries.
Yellowwood, 5,
I walk
26,
and I walk
58, and
alone
Awaytalk.
among people.
Magnolia.
Doesn't
5,
anyone else
26,
know the
58,
earth
and
speaks through the
Awaytalk.
soles of our
Tobacco.
feet? We're
5,
both in
30,
pain,
58,
bleeding and
and
raw,
Awaytalk.
shared wounds
Sycamore,
going deep,
5,
very
31,
deep.
58,
The nurse
Bikini.
pleads for more
Rose,
moleskin.
6,
Please, everyone,
2,
give us your
58,
moleskin.
and Awaytalk.
Just tape it up on the medical
Umbrella,
bus door.
6, 8,
Moleskin,
58,
moleskin.
and
Who's got
Awaytalk.
more moleskin? Doesn't
Maple,
anyone
6,
else know?
10,
Moleskin can't patch up this sore.
Aspen,
exhausted.
14,
I hide in dark
15,
solitude by
Walnut,
night, watching the
6,
desert
14,
rustle alive.
and away top.
Black forms,
Linden,
brothers and sisters
6,
to the cactus,
8,
rise from the desert
and away
floor
top.
and glide.
Red one,
Glide
6,
with the full
27,
moon across the
58,
Prussian blue
15,
sky.
Elder,
Gentle witness
6,
to soulful
27,
songs from Mother,
58,
Father,
and away top.
God, drumming the heartbeat.
6,
Why?
28, 58,
Why?
and away top.
Why?
Hickory.
Why
6,
so much fear?
28,
Why no compassion? Why the hard
Sequoia,
masks?
7,
Why?
58,
Why?
and away top.
Why?
Cedar.
The heart beats
7,
the only
2,
drum that matters,
58,
the rhythm
bikini.
of creation, the
Dogwood.
music of the
7,
spheres.
5,
If we want to
58,
keep living,
and away
we
top.
all need
Poplar.
to start singing.
7, 12,
Why?
58,
And
bikini.
why? And then
Sino.
again, why?
7,
What will I
14,
say when my
58,
child
and away top.
asks, why?
Zonia.
Why didn't
7,
you do
17,
something, Mom?
58,
Why?
and away top. Juniper.
Dark desert
7,
truth,
22,
the why I am
58,
here,
bikini.
long after the
Almond.
ozone
7,
hole burns
22,
through
58,
and oxygen
and away
dies
top.
lonely,
Pine.
mourning
7,
lost
26,
trees.
58,
Radiation
and away top.
continues,
T.
continues,
8,
and continues,
Johnson
and
Island, South
continues,
Pacific.
spilling death
Twins.
before it's
8,
time.
6, 58, and away
Though I
top.
still sing and
Orange.
dance, I
8,
live the pain
12,
of our shared
58,
myopia.
Johnson Island,
My
area.
dream of living as if all life
8,
mattered,
18,
shattered
58,
by
and
too
away
much
top.
silence.
Operation Argus.
Wake up, I bellow,
Argus 1.
singing
8,
the heart
27,
forgotten.
58, South
None of
America.
us can do it
Argus
alone.
2.
Cherish
8,
this life,
30,
this desert, this moon.
58, South
Love this
Atlantic.
earth's
Argus
body.
3,
It
9,
is
6,
our
58,
own.
South
The
Atlantic.
future streams through us with
Operation
each breath we
Hardtack
take,
2.
each decision we
Arturo.
make.
9,
Another verse
12,
in the
58,
planet's holy
Nevada
song.
Test Site.
Sliding steadfast through
9,
trackless space,
17,
the waxing and waning moon sings
Nevada Test
harsh
Site.
truth
Eddie.
quietly.
9, 19,
Nothing more sacred
Nevada Test Site.
than not being scared,
9,
to stop
21,
living like
58,
cancers
Nevada
consuming
Test Site.
our host.
Mercury. 9,
We are
23,
losing ourselves, that's
58,
why I am
Nevada Test
here.
Site.
If
Valencia.
my action is the one
9,
which changes the
26,
tide, in that
58,
breathless
Nevada
moment
Test
of
Site.
turning,
Mars.
then I'll
9,
die
28,
satisfied.
58,
No
Nevada
need
Test
anymore
Site.
for me
Mora.
to ask
9,
why.
29, 58, Nevada Test Site. Colfax. 10, 5, 58, Nevada Test Site. Hidalgo. 10, 5, 58, Nevada Test Site. Tamaulipas. 10, 8, 58, Nevada Test Site. Quay. 10, 10, 58, Nevada Test Site. Lee. 10, 13, 58, Nevada Test Site. Neptune. 10, 14, 58, Nevada Test Site. Hamilton. 10, 15, 58, Nevada Test Site. Logan. 10, 16, 58, Nevada Test Site. Dona Ana. 10, 16, 58, Nevada Test Site. Vesta. 10, 17, 58, Nevada Test Site. Rio Arriba. 10, 18, 58, Nevada Test Site. San Juan. 10, 20, 58, Nevada Test Site. Socorro. 10, 22, 58, Nevada Test Site. Rangel. 10, 22, 58, Nevada Test Site. Rushmore. 10, 22, 58, Nevada Test Site. Oberon. 10, 22, 58, Nevada Test Site. Catron. 10, 24, 58, Nevada Test Site. Juno. 10, 24, 58, Nevada Test Site. Ceres. 10, 26, 58, Nevada Test Site. Sanford. 10, 26, 58, Nevada Test Site. Ibaka. 10, 26, 58, Nevada Test Site. Chavez. 10, 27, 58, Nevada Test Site. Evans. 10, 26, 58, Nevada Test Site. Humboldt. 10, 29, 58, Nevada Test Site. Mazuma. 10, 29, 58, Nevada Test Site.
Santa Fe, 10, 30, 58, Nevada Test Site. Blanca, 10/30/58, Nevada test site. Ganymede, 10/30/58, Nevada test site. Titania, 10/30/58, Nevada test site. Operation Nugget. Antler, 9/15/61, Nevada test site. Shrew, 9/16/61, Nevada test site. Boomer, 10/1/61, Nevada test site. Shayna, 10/10/61, Nevada test site. Mink, 10/29/61, Nevada test site. Fisher, 10/3/61, Nevada test site. Gnome, 12/10/61, Carlsbad, New Mexico. Mad, 12/13/61, Nevada test site. Ringtail, 12/17/61, Nevada test site. Feather, 12/22/61, Nevada test site. Stoat, 1/9/62, Nevada test site.
Whatever.
Agouti, 1/18/62,
San Juan,
Nevada
unstemmed
test site.
hole.
Dormouse, 1.
Evans, radioactivity not detected off-site.
Stillwater,
Santa
2,
Fe,
8,
10/30/58.
Nevada test site.
Strontium 90 levels in in the milk supply of North Dakota and Minnesota were far in excess of the AEC's own safe limit. Blanca, slight venting. Radiation levels in Los Angeles this month were privately called an emergency by the U.S. government, but were publicly deemed harmless.
Cimarron,
Titania. At the start of this bilateral test moratorium, the U.S. had exploded 196 bombs, the USSR 55.
162,
Antler,
Nevada test site.
accidental release of radioactivity detected
5,
off-site.
62, Nevada
2
test
weeks
site.
after the USSR broke the
3,
testing
6,
moratorium,
62, Nevada
the U.S.
test site.
exploded this weapon.
Passos, 3,
Shrew,
8,
accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only.
Hogmanay,
Boomer, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Chena, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Mink, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Fisher, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Gnome, a multiple-purpose experiment in salt formed a cavity 160 feet in diameter, 80 feet high. This underground blast delivered fallout to Carlsbad, New Mexico. A startling upswing in congenital birth defects followed. Mad, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Ringtail, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Feather, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Stoat, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only.
5, 4, 62,
Danny Boy, crater diameter 265 feet depth, 84 feet
Paca,
wide in basalt. Release of radioactivity detected off-site.
5, 8, 62, Christmas Island.
Platte,
area.
accidental release of radioactivity detected off-site. Adobe, although the British had evacuated residents during their tests here at Christmas Island in the South Pacific, the U.S. thought it was unnecessary. Canned food was provided for 3 months after each test, though. Frigate bird, warhead and missile launched from Polaris submarine. Paca, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Swordfish, an anti-submarine rocket, ASROC system-proof test. Des Moines, this shot, though underground, contaminated pastures and milk with iodine-131. Haymaker, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Marshmallow, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Bluestone, Christmas Island area, yield in the low megaton range. Bighorn, Christmas Island area, yield in the megaton range. Sedan was an excavation experiment. Crater 1,280 feet in diameter, 320 feet deep.
Normal radiation readings jumped 100-fold near Salt Lake City. Thousands of gallons of milk were dumped. Little Feller 2, part of Operation Sunbeam, slightly above ground. Radioactivity not detected off-site. Starfish Prime, part of Operation Fishbowl, high altitude, 400 kilometers. This test caused severe electromagnetic disturbances in the ionosphere and on Earth, and disrupted the Van Allen belt. 800 miles away in Hawaii, streetlights failed, burglar alarms rang, and circuit breakers popped open. Yield 1.4 megatons.
62, Nevada test site. Little Feller 2, 7762, Nevada test site. Starfish Prime, 7962, Johnston Island. Sunset, 71062, Christmas Island. Pamlico, 71162, Christmas Island. Johnny Boy, 71162, Nevada test site. Merrimack, 71362, Nevada test site. Small Boy, 71462, Nevada test site. Little Feller 1, 71762, Nevada test site. Wichita, 72762, Nevada test site. York, 82462, Nevada test site. Bobax, 82462, Nevada test site. Raritan, 9662, Nevada test site. Hyrax, 91462, Nevada test site. Peba, 92062, Nevada test site. Allegheny, 92962, Nevada test site. Androscoggin, 10262, Johnston Island. Mississippi, 10562, Nevada test site. Bumpy, 10662, Johnston Island. Roanoke, 101262, Nevada test site. Wolverine, 101262, Nevada test site. Shama, 101862, Johnston Island. Tioga, 101862, Nevada test site. Bandicoot, 101962, Nevada test site. Checkmate, 102062, Johnston Island. Bluegill 3 Prime, 102662, Johnston Island. Santee, 102762, Nevada test site. Calamity, 102762, Johnston Island. Housatonic, 103062, Johnston Island. Kingfish, 11162, Johnston Island. Tightrope, 11462, Johnston Island. St. Lawrence, 11962, Nevada test site. Gundi, 111562, Nevada test site. Anacostia, 112762, Nevada test site. Taunton, 12462, Nevada test site. Tendrak, 12762, Nevada test site. Madison, 121262, Nevada test site. Numbat, 121262, Nevada test site. Manatee, 121462, Nevada test site. Kesselman, 22863, Nevada test site. Akushi, 2863, Nevada test site. Barrett, 2863, Nevada test site. Hachi, 2863, Nevada test site. Chipmunk, 21563, Nevada test site. Kaweah, 22163,
Black
Nevada
and white
test site.
sign
Carmel,
on the barbed wire fence marking the
22163,
boundaries of the
Nevada
nuclear
test
test
site.
site
Balboa,
says,
3163,
desert tortoise
Nevada
habitat,
test site.
threatened
Koya,
species.
315,
This tortoise, 67
Nevada test
million
site.
years old,
Jerk,
our closest link to the
329,
dinosaurs.
Nevada test site.
But in the last 7
Barrett
years, we
Pine,
have diminished their numbers by
4563, Nevada
50%.
test site.
In the last
Corfu,
7 years, we have
410,
diminished their numbers by
Nevada test
50%.
Cumberland,
After
411,
67 million
Nevada
years of the tortoise
Kootenai,
surviving.
424,
All-terrain vehicles with 3 wheels and 4.
Bassano,
These alone
424,
compress the
63,
earth
Nevada test
and
site.
destroy the tortoise's
Windy Prime,
fragile habitat.
5963,
For a split second, I think it's a good thing the test site has now been declared
51563,
desert tortoise
Falling Ridge,
habitat.
Nevada.
Glad someone has finally
517,
noticed.
Nevada
But
test
just
site.
behind the sign, a
Dijon,
van
5,
unloads 7 guards,
Nevada test site.
preparing to defend the
Stones,
government's right to
522,
continue
Nevada test
underground
site.
nuclear
Clean Slate
testing.
1,
And I wonder who's kidding whom.
Bombing range,
I
Nevada.
yell to the nearest
Pleasant,
guard, "What threatens the
5:49,
desert tortoise?"
Nevada test site.
He stands silent,
Slate
looking
2,
at his shoes.
5:31,
I read the sign carefully to him. It is unlawful to possess, harass, transport, injure, kill, receive, or remove a threatened or endangered species. The guard stands silent, looking at his
Clean
shoes.
slate 3.
Doesn't it seem odd that they put this sign over here when you're the only ones allowed over there? The guard stands silent, looking at his shoes.
Nevada test site.
Desperate for response, I ask, "Do you suppose underground nuclear testing injures the health of the tortoise?" The guard stands silent, looking at his shoes. Nuclear testing, warheads, missiles, and bombs, warheads, missiles, and bombs. Shouldn't it be Department of Defense? The Department of Energy tells me they are just doing medical research. April 1992. The Las Vegas Daily newspaper, and I saw this with my own eyes, reports that the Nevada test site has just been renamed the Nevada Environmental Research Station. Odd that the Department of Energy calls itself DOE, the female animal in any species where the male is called a buck. I am a doe, big-eyed, gentle, and trusting. I believed in America when I was a child. I trusted the government cared for me. But as a grown woman, I trust my own intuition and common sense, and I know the government doesn't care one whit for me. I don't need science to know that these craters that desecrate the desert are much more than skin-deep pockmarks that simply mar the Earth's face. Bombing underground radiates our Earth's body as if she were a cancer patient, destroying healthy tissue along with the cancerous cells. Nuclear fission does not discriminate. The Earth and I and the desert tortoise are all endangered species, and the buck should stop here, but it doesn't. Tectonic plates quiver and quake. Blowholes open and fissures crack, spewing radioactive gases again, this time Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, New York, Canada. Wind diseased, water table threatened. Downwinders look up frightened, dying young from unnatural causes. Citizens speak, a mother cries. An atomic veteran dies, and the government denies, obfuscates, ignores, and lies. Numbed by powerlessness, frozen with fear, the people bury their heads in slot machines and pray to gods for salvation, hoping the buck will bring them relief. Crate 1205-64, Nevada test site. Drill 1205-64, Nevada test site. Parrot 1216-64, Nevada test site. Mudpeck 1216-64, Nevada test site. Sulky 1218-64, Nevada test site. Wool 114-65, Nevada test site. Cashmere 0204-65, Nevada test site. Alpaca 0212-65, Nevada test site. Merlin 0216-65, Nevada test site. Wishbone 0218-65, Nevada test site. Wagtail 0303-65, Nevada test site. Cup 0326-65, Nevada test site. Mistral 0405-65, Nevada test site. Palanquin 0414-65, Nevada test site. Gumdrop 0421-65, Nevada test site. T 0507-65, Nevada test site. Utah 0512-65, Nevada test site. Scott 0514-65, Nevada
Nevada test site.
We must take care of her, the earth is our mother. We must take care of her.
Cottrell, post 1165, Nevada test site. Duluth Water, post 1665, Nevada test site. Brown, 072365, Nevada test site. Wah, 080665, Nevada test site. Centaur, 082765, Nevada test site. Streamer, 090165, Nevada test site. Charcoal, 091065, Nevada test site. Elkhart, 091765, Nevada test site. Barsha, 102965, and Chippewa, Alaska. Sepia, 111265, Nevada test site.
Sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take, the sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take,
Maxwell,
unite my people, be one.
1866,
Unite
Doug
my
King,
people,
012166,
be
Nevada test
one.
site. Plaid 2, 02,
Earth is our mother.
Rex,
We must take care of her, the earth is our
Red Hot,
mother.
030566,
We must take care of her.
430766,
Unite my people, be one. Unite my people, be one. Sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take, the sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take, unite my people, be one. Unite my people, be one. Earth is our mother. We must take care of her, the earth is our mother. We must take care of her.
466, Nevada test site. Microman, 5566, Nevada test site. Santa Cruz, 5666, Nevada test site. Tapestry, 51266, Nevada test site. Burns, 51366, Nevada test site. Piedmont, 51966, Nevada test site. Discus thrower, 52766, Nevada test site. Pile driver, 6266, Nevada test site.
Would like to take this time to remember my friend Giannis Gretsons, who died at the age of 44 of bone cancer in the state of Minnesota, which is a dairy state.
61566, Nevada test site. 61566, Nevada test site. Vulcan, 62566, Nevada test site. Half-Beat, 63066, Nevada test site. Operation Light Team.
Operation Mandrel.
Saxon,
Ildrim,
72866, Nevada test site. Robina.
Plaid 2, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only.
Derringer,
Red Hot, accidental release of radioactivity detected off-site.
Daiquiri,
Finfoot, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Templar, excavation device development. Fenton, accidental release of radioactivity detected off-site by aircraft only. Tapestry, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Half-Beat, yield 365 kilotons. Sims, excavation device development. Ajax, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Sterling, at Hattiesburg, Mississippi, nuclear test detection experiment. Newpoint, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Greeley, yield 870 kilotons. Nash, accidental release of radioactivity detected off-site. Commodore, yield 250 kilotons. Scotch, Yield 155 kilotons.
Nevada test site.
Midi mist, controlled release of radioactivity detected off-site.
Nevada test site.
Umber, accidental release of radioactivity detected off-site. Marvel, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Gas buggy, a joint government-industry gas stimulation experiment. Stilt, from 1956 to 1967, the leukemia rate was found to be about 6 times the expected level near Cedar City, Utah, and 20 times the expected level in Fredonia, Arizona. Faultless, yield range 200 to 1,000 kilotons. Buggy, a row charge experiment, 5 simultaneous detonations. Release of radioactivity detected off-site. Scroll, a nuclear test detection experiment, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Boxcar, yield 1.3 megatons.
Washer, 8, 10, 67, Nevada test site.
Knife C,
8, 18.
Dr. Ernest Sternglass estimates that atmospheric explosions caused the deaths of 375,000 U.S. babies between 1951 and 1966.
Marvel,
Barsac, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only.
9,
Tapper,
27, 67,
accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Rulison, a joint government industry gas stimulation experiment in Grand Valley, Colorado. Operational release of radioactivity detected off-site. Milrow, a seismic calibration test. Yield about 1 megaton. Scuttle, accidental release of radioactivity detected off-site by aircraft only. As of this year, the UN estimated up to 84,540 deaths and 168,000 genetic effects worldwide as a result of nuclear testing. Terrain. During the late 1960s, children in Pleasant Grove, Utah died from leukemia at a rate 10 times the national average. Handley, yield more than 1 megaton. Snubber, accidental release of radioactivity detected off-site. Mint leaf, controlled release of radioactivity detected off-site.
Palmar, 3, 14, 68, Nevada test site. Stinger, 3, 22, 68, Nevada test site. Milkshake, 3, 25, 68, Nevada test site. Nord, 4, 10, 68, Nevada test site. Shuffle,
Diagonal line,
4, 18, 68,
Nevada test site.
Nevada test site.
Connectus.
Rule,
12,
4,
14,
23,
71,
68, Nevada test site.
Bombshell,
Boxcar, 4, 26,
72,
68, Nevada test site.
Misty
Clocksmobile,
North,
5, 17,
5272,
68,
Nevada test
Nevada
site.
test site.
Zinnia,
House,
5,
6,
17,
68, Nevada test site. Ricky, 6, 15, 68, Nevada test site. Shadow Gray, 6, 28, 68, Nevada test site.
7,072.
Operation Bowline, Tanya, 7, 30, 68, Nevada test site.
Dr. Ernest
Diana Moose, 8, 27, 68, Nevada test site.
Caused the deaths, Nevada test site.
375,000
babies between
1951
and 1966.
Knife A,
Dr. Ernest Sternglass estimates that atmospheric explosions
cause of
Nevada
deaths
test site.
375,000 U.S.
Nevada
babies
test site.
between 1951 and 1966.
Nevada test site.
Dr. Ernest Sternblass estimates that the atmospheric explosions caused the deaths of 375,000 U.S. babies between 1951 and 1966.
11/22/68 Nevada test site.
Accidental release of radioactivity
68
detonated
Nevada test site.
off-site by aircraft only. As of this year, the U.S. estimated up to 84,500
Memory 31479, Nevada test site.
and 168,000 genetic effects
Zapato
worldwide
61179, Nevada test site.
testing.
Starwood 42673, Nevada test site.
Chess 62079, Nevada test site.
During the late
Rio Blanco
1960s,
51773,
children in
Colorado.
Pleasant Grove, Utah,
Fajai
died from
62879,
leukemia
Nevada
at a
test
rate
site.
10
Beidou
times
event
the national average.
6573, Nevada test site.
During the
Brzett
late
379,
1960s,
Nevada test site.
children in Pleasant Grove, Utah,
673, Nevada
died
test
from
site.
leukemia
Offshore
at a rate 10
79,
times
Nevada
the
test
national
site.
Puerto
average.
Luca
During the late
62873, Nevada test site.
1960s,
Nestle
children in
82979,
Pleasant Grove,
Nevada test
Utah,
site.
died
Husky
from
101273,
leukemia at a
Nevada
rate
test site.
10 times the national average.
9679, Nevada
Pleasant
test site.
Grove.
Cornell 112873,
Pleasant
Nevada test
Grove.
Sarah
Children
Fine,
died in
879,
Pleasant
Nevada
Grove
test
at
site.
a rate
site.
of 10
Latour
times.
22774, Nevada test site.
Sheepshead 92679, Nevada test site.
Fallon 52374, Nevada test site.
Listen, Operation
everyone.
Tinderbox,
The
backgammon
DOE,
112979,
the Department of
Nevada test
Energy,
site.
speaks.
Greenblade 61974,
There is no radioactivity
Nevada test site.
leaking here. That's why we test underground. A bubble of melted
Esteban
earth
1774,
congeals steel
Nevada test
hard
site.
around the
Tarco
blast.
22880,
At the moment of
Nevada test
detonation,
site.
it's instantaneous. A solid capsule contains
Norbo
everything permanently,
3880,
definitely, for
Nevada
sure,
test site.
forever.
Fort Manchu
But
83074,
how then does the
Nevada
earth
test site.
rise and crumble at the
Lip
moment
Tower,
of impact,
4380,
often
Nevada test
collapsing
site.
only moments later
Canyon
to form a large
92674,
crater?
Nevada test site.
The
Pyramid,
DOE
41680,
There is
Nevada
no
test site.
radioactivity
High
leaking
blood
here.
pressure,
That's why we
10.274,
test
Nevada
underground.
test
A bubble of
Colwick,
melted earth
42680,
congeals
Nevada
steel
test site.
hard.
Top gallon
But
22875,
why then, I ask, when the
Nevada test
wind
site.
shifts toward Las
Canfield,
Vegas, are the
5280,
tests
Nevada test site.
postponed?
Chirpin-
Decisions
Cabrillo,
reversed sometimes several times in
3775,
one
Nevada
day.
test site.
Testing
Flora,
always
52280,
dependent on the
Nevada
direction of
test
the
site.
wind.
Dining car
The
4575,
DOE
Nevada test
speaks.
site.
There
Cash,
is
1280,
no
Nevada test site.
radioactivity leaking
Again,
here.
4
That's why we
2475,
test
Nevada test
underground.
Huron King,
Downwinders,
62480, Nevada
St.
test site.
George,
Hobart,
Eli, Cedar City,
43075,
Tonopah,
Nevada test site.
Elko,
Toffee,
Twin Falls,
72580,
Bunkerville,
Nevada test
Pleasant
site.
Grove,
Typo,
Pocatello,
51475,
Caliente,
Nevada test
Warm
site.
Springs,
Verdelho,
Mesquite,
73180,
Littlefield,
Nevada test site.
Wheeler Mountain,
Stilton,
Glendale,
6375,
Riverdale,
Nevada test
Enterprise,
site.
Troy,
Bernarda,
New York,
92580,
Los
Nevada
Angeles,
test site.
California,
Bizan,
Salt Lake City,
6375,
Utah.
Nevada test
That
site.
list
Riola,
goes
92580,
on
Nevada
and
test
on.
site.
Mass,
Human lives,
61975,
animal
Nevada test
lives,
site.
plant lives,
Operation Guardian,
insect
Duchess,
lives,
102480,
bird
Nevada
lives,
test site.
reptilian lives, downwinders lives. The
61675,
list
Nevada test site.
goes
Miners
on.
Iron,
Are
103180,
not
Nevada test
all
site.
lives
March,
sacred?
9675,
Are not
Nevada
all
test site.
lives sacred?
Dawson,
Somebody tell me, are
111480,
not all
Nevada test
lives
site.
sacred?
Husky Tough,
All lives are
102475, Nevada test site.
All lives
Serpa,
are sacred.
121780,
All
Somebody, we are
All
sure
life.
life is
102475, Nevada test site.
Baseball, 11581, Nevada test site.
Inlet, 112075, Nevada
More.
test site.
Claret, 581, Nevada test site.
Layton, 112675, Nevada test site.
Seco, 22581, Nevada test
The
site.
desert,
Sheberta, 122075, Nevada test site.
the elders.
Vita, 42081, Nevada test site.
Munster, 1376, Nevada test site.
Alaga, 52981, Nevada test site.
Kielson, 2476, Nevada test site.
Harzer, 6681, Nevada test site.
Esrom, 2476, Nevada test site.
Giza, 71081, Nevada test site.
Fontina, 21276 Nevada test site.
Cano, 71681 Nevada test site.
Chester, 21476 Nevada test site.
Havarti, 8581 Nevada test site.
Estuary, 3976 Nevada test site.
Islay, 82781 Nevada test site.
Colby, 31476 Nevada test site.
Frediano, 9481 Nevada test site.
Poole, 31776 Nevada test site.
Cernata, 92481 Nevada test site.
Strait, 31776 Nevada test site.
Operation Praetorian, Paliza, 10181 Nevada test site.
Mighty Epic, 51276 Nevada test site.
Tilsey, 111181 Nevada test site.
Billet, 72776 Nevada test site.
Busan,
Test
111281
42553.
Gannon,
2 days later,
826
in
Nevada
Troy,
test
New
site.
York, rain puddles contained 270,000 times normal radioactivity, and city reservoir water showed levels 2,630 times normal. 5 years later, the annual number of leukemia cases quadrupled. 61390. Since 1951, over 700 nuclear explosions have been conducted at the Nevada test site. The U.S. is the most bombed nation on Earth. 8/31/57. From tests during this year, veterans would later suffer leukemia at 3 times the expected rate.
Crew line, 525.
2/28/54, Rongelap Atoll. Thinking the fallout was snow, children played in it. 12/8/68. Deemed infinitesimal by the AEC, radiation levels reached 160 times normal in Pioche, Nevada. Fallout was detected in Canada and in Salt Lake, reaching its highest level there in 6 years. The AEC had no monitoring stations east of the Mississippi River. 3/1/62. Beginning with the explosion on this date, the United Kingdom conducted 23 of its 44 tests jointly with the U.S. at the Nevada test site. April 21st, 1962. 1962 tests in the Christmas and Johnson Island area and elsewhere in the Pacific were part of the infamous Operation Dominic. 5/9/63. 4 tests on the Nevada bombing range during May and June 1963 were conducted jointly by the U.S. and the United Kingdom. In 1958, the UN estimated that testing up to 1958 caused up to 10,000 serious genetic effects. Bainbury, 12/8/70. This blast set radioactivity 8,000 feet high. In all states where radioactivity rose highest, including Montana, infant mortality rose sharply during the next 3 months. Across the rest of the U.S., it declined. Camphor, accidental release of radioactivity detected on-site only. Diagonal line, 1971. Accidental release of radioactivity detected off-site by aircraft only. In the preceding 2 years, 5 underground tests, including this one, leaked at least 7 million curies of radiation into the atmosphere. Flax, in 1972. After 26 years, the people of Bikini were returned to their cleaned-up atoll.
Sabato, 81183 Nevada test site.
Queenella, 2879 Nevada test site.
Chancellor, 9183 Nevada test site.
Mast, 1975, yield 200 to 1,000 kilotons. Camembert, June 75, yield 200 to 1,000 kilotons. Kasiri, October 75, yield 200 to 1,000 kilotons. Inlet, November 1975, yield 200 to 1,000 kilotons. Munster, January 1976, yield 200 to 1,000 kilotons. Fontina, February 76, yield 200 to 1,000 kilotons. Cheshire, February 76, yield 200 to 500 kilotons. Estuary, March 76, yield 200 to 500 kilotons. Colby, March 1976, yield 500 to 1,000 kilotons. Poole, March 1976, yield 200 to 500 kilotons. Strait, March 1976, yield 200 to 500 kilotons. On March 31st, 1976, the Threshold Test Ban Treaty took effect, limiting nuclear tests to under 500 kilotons. That is equivalent to 11 Hiroshima bombs. May 1985. Having been refused by the U.S. government, the people of Rongelap Atoll got Greenpeace to evacuate them to a less contaminated atoll. Mighty Oak, March 86. This Star Wars program test of the ability of a laser device to beam radiation over long distances leaked fission products off-site. Misty Echo, 1988. Between 1970 and 1988, 126 underground explosions released radioactivity. 118 of these were intentional releases.
Goldstone, 12, 28, 85,
Intentional
Nevada test site.
releases.
Glencoe, 3, 22, 86,
Intentional
Nevada test site.
releases.
Mighty Oak,
Causing
4, 10,
poison.
86, Nevada test site.
Cancer causing.
Jefferson, 4,
waste.
22, 85, Nevada test site.
Do they not think?
Panamint, 5, 21, 86, Nevada test site. Tahoe,
Into the
6,
air.
5, 86,
Humans.
Nevada test site.
Bloodstream.
Darwin, 6, 25, 86, Nevada test site. Cybar, 7, 17,
Makes you
86,
wonder, doesn't
Nevada
it?
test site.
If all
Cornucopia,
lives are
7,
sacred,
24, 86,
why do we
Nevada test
allow
site.
the insanity?
Alimon, 9, 11, 86, Nevada
Are we
test
scared
site.
of the great gods,
Lockhart,
science,
9,
technology,
30,
and
86,
progress?
Nevada test site.
Are we
Buckney,
scared of governmental
9/24/87, Nevada test site.
Are we scared of
Operation
national
Touchstone,
security?
4/8,
Are we so
10/23/87,
scared of
Nevada
living
test
with
site.
rather die
Waco,
now?
12/1/87, Nevada test site. Mission Cyber, 12/2/87, Nevada test site. Kernville, 2/15/88, Nevada test site. Abilene, April 7th, 88, Nevada test site. Shelburne, 5/13/88, Nevada test site. Laredo, 5/21/88, Nevada test site. Comstock, June 2nd, 1988, Nevada test site. Morella, 6 June 22nd, 1988, Nevada test site.
I personally want to know why they test these bombs. I don't know why they test these bombs. Bombs are bombs. They know they're going to work one way or another. There's no good reason that I can logically ever even think of that they would have to test these bombs. Bombs upon bombs upon bombs, stockpiles of bombs. Fear motivates it all, don't you think? Why? I think the Pentagon is scared. I think that nobody is looking. I think that one person is doing it because nobody else is paying any attention. Everyone's got
We're
their
held
heads down.
hostage.
We're
We're
saying,
held hostage to
we're saying,
bombs and war.
who's going to
Since
stop it?
1951, over 700 nuclear explosions have been conducted within the Nevada test site.
There's no good reason.
The U.S. is the most bombed nation on Earth.
The U.S. is the most bombed nation on Earth.
Operation Julian.
The U.S. is the most bombed nation on Earth.
Bristol,
The
11/26/91,
U.S. is the
Nevada
most
test site.
bombed nation on Earth.
The U.S. is the
116
most
tests were not
bombed
announced.
nation
Several
on
dozen
Earth.
more remain to be discovered. 116 tests were not announced. Several dozen more remain to be discovered. Junction, 32692 Nevada test site. Diamond Fortune, 43092 Nevada test site. Victoria, 61992 Nevada test site. Galena, 62392 Nevada test site. Hunter's Trophy, 91892 Nevada test site. Divider, 92392 Nevada test site. 1 week later, the United States followed Russia and France by entering into a voluntary temporary moratorium on the testing of nuclear weapons. China is currently not testing. The United States moratorium expires July 1st, 1993. To learn how to reach Missoula's Healing Global Wounds and help us stop nuclear weapons testing forever, contact this station, MCAT.
They're done. They're out of here.
Yes, yes!
Have you thought about videotaping your whole program?
Hi, Tracy. Yes, I have. And I form last year and tried it from Temi.
You're keeping your stuff outside, then they can get ready for whatever their next show is.
Okay, I'm gonna take the thing here and learn how to run the camera. They have a once a month thing where you learn how to run cameras. Because you know what, I'm interested in doing a project.
And if you ever want to just talk quietly out in the grass someday, I would love.
Abilities as these generations with the culture going on, nurturing of babies.
Thanks.
Not
Now is not the time to talk, because it's gotta clean up as fast as possible.
Okay, so we gotta get the bombs up.
Now we're gonna take the bombs up. If she wants her paintings up there.
We don't have to pick those up as fast, we just need to get stuff outside. We got lots of time to clean this up.
Here, we'll get that out there. We gotta get
I think
everything out of here.
does that stay in here? I'm pretty sure that's the.
No, that's ours.
So it's,
Excuse me. That's it.
Except the straw.
that's it? What about that painting back there?
That's theirs.
Do we have a room?
Wait, I told them they could have whatever chair they want. They get to pick their chair. Oh, okay. But this,
Is that room handy?
yeah, where is it? She had it last night. And can we put these, okay, I would like. Pin it thing. Let's put it right down the dead center, because then we can get cameras all the way around it. You guys get on camera, because there's nobody on camera.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Mark, you have the long cord, so you can get anywhere. Okay. These are what?
Thanks a lot again.
We locked it. We still locked it. Justin? Yeah. Can you help me put the art back up?
Jack up.
Can you lift that up?
Okay.
I'm gonna tell the writers they can come in at any time.
Temi.
Where'd the chain go? What?
Hello. Works on two.
I'm on one. Angie's on one. Do you know what happened to the chain for this easel? Did you see what happened to the chains that I had?
They're-
No, I never saw a chain.
How are we sitting, Tammy?
Around that table.
Oh, around the table.
Oh, girl, you're so bad. Okay, I'm having this moment. Whoa, sorry. Oh, the chains? This is a crippled easel. They stole the chain for some reason. They must have thought it was part of their property. Yeah, all the paintings that have easels are in here because they're part of the set. But the one with the broken easel, I don't know. Ah! Okay.
Where's Cheryl?
I don't know how to start this.
Hi, Molly. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, well, welcome writers to the heart and soul of Readings and Songs Against the End of the World. These are the readings, part of the Readings and Songs Against the End of the World, and always is the central heartbeat of the entire process. And so, without further ado, I introduce to you the brains of our company.
Which may be a sad reflection.
All right, enjoy yourself.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll just say who we are first, and then I think we're going to go around and read some poems, and Mary's got a little prose. I'm Dennis Held, grew up in Wisconsin and moved to Missoula, and here I am now.
I'm Claire Davis. Lived in Missoula now for 4 years, and originally came from Wisconsin. Also was a graduate student at the university. And
I think I need you to speak up a wee bit.
a little bit louder,
A
okay.
wee bit louder. I don't get much of a signal at all.
I'm Claire Davis, resident in Missoula now for 4 years. Originally lived in Wisconsin and went through the graduate program at the University of Montana here. And Kevin?
I'm Kevin Gooden. I've always been here.
And always will be.
And, I'm an undergraduate at the university.
Sometime.
Sometimes.
I'm Charlie McGrath.
That's it, okay. I'm Ricky Danielson. I write plays normally, but I'd love to read some poems to you.
I'm Mary Vanek. I was born and raised in Texas. They haven't held it against me in Missoula so far. And I've been to Prague, and you'll hear a little bit about that today. Go.
Maybe now? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm going to start with a poem that talks a little about some of the words that infiltrated their way into my life. These happen to be landscape words. And I think the landscape where I grew up shows up in my poems not just as it does here, sort of as content, but it shows up in strange ways through the way I like to listen to words and listen to the sounds of words. This is a poem that just sort of celebrates a particular kind of word, and it's called Kettle Moraine. I read the language of the land in my brother Carl's geography book. Drumlin, Esker, Kame and Kettle, Yazoo Stream, Dolomite Escarpment, Recessional Moraine, Terminal Moraine.
When I walked among the ponds and ridges, I knew their names, and I could feel the power of the glacier, a continent of ice pressing over the old land, dragging itself south an inch a year. And I could see the dull bully, slowly shouldering through, pounding mountains into valleys, digging deep into the soft flesh of the continent, leaving great gaping holes for the earth to fill with meltwater. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, Superior. They taught me how to remember. The first letters all together spell homes. So that's a poem with some grounding.
Landscape poems. I guess a lot of my early writing was Wisconsin, which is, I suppose, normal, having been raised there. But recently I've been trying to get a little bit more of the West into my writing, and when it comes to landscapes, I guess, what comes close to that would be a recent poem I've just done called Buffalo Kisses in the Full Moon. And it's in honor of Bill Kittredge and an occasion of his 60th birthday party, which was a very fine party. But so it has a little bit of the Western landscape in it, which is what I've been trying to explore lately. Buffalo Kisses in the Full Moon for Bill Kittredge. He comes for me, head wide as a wallow, curly hair like shag carpet walked on and worn to grease. But there he is, full bore intent, mowing his way through the light, the crowd, the kitchen, the spilled hot coffee grounds, ankle high on a steep-legged woman, ingesting it all. His stomach generous enough to chew it twice. Renegade ruminant loose in the house. 10-penny nails pinch and squeal. Floorboards pop back with the crack of carbines, and I can hear his breath clattering as if the old coach car still rattled through the long nights behind coal-fired smokestacks. Cowcatcher, flamboyant with the crust and skins of buffalo caught dreaming. He means to kiss me. I heard him outdoors where such events should be duly witnessed by a full moon and stars small as countersunk nails. His breath is a huff of dust that rankles the prairie grass and lifts the hackles on high-shouldered coyotes staggering over the rocking earth, their ears flattened against the thunder of meat and horns. The moon's a cold stone in the sky. There's nothing for it but to throw back my head and howl.
Wow.
My apologies, Bill.
Since I grew up here in Montana, a lot of the landscape also is comes into my writing, and I like to fly fish. So this first poem I'm going to start off with is Fishing the Madison at Sunset for Mike Zofka. Waist deep in the river since noon and nothing. 2 bites early in the backwater, but bites, near hits, close misses, never count. With thorn brush this thick against the bank, the river narrow but the water good, casts are tight and nervous. If this were another season, another year, mud swallows would swarm the white clay bluff, and the river would edge for more bed. Mud nests hang upside down, empty. Across a floodplain, a mile from water, the thorn brush ends and the buffalo jump begins. These days, only tourists jump, or heifers finding freedom beyond confines of distant ranches. Upstream, the river widens and the water slows, and browns nose the surface in the last light. Frost gathers in the shadows. I work my way along the bank, line slacked, new fly ready. Upstream, the water has promise. Each step against the current is sure.
I write about the human condition, but I don't know if it's a genre or not, and I don't know what it is. I write about peace. Peace is a deity, and the other day, well, about a month ago, I was talking to a friend of mine. We were talking about gay rights, and with the Clinton thing, and on the state thing. And the sailor that was killed, the gay sailor that was killed in Florida or somewhere, or in Japan. And the fellow I was talking to, he was against it, or he couldn't understand it, as could I. But there was another person that joined the conversation, and this person was very verbal, and he was very, he could understand it. There was no problem, no problem at all, kill him, right. And he even brought his name into it, in his name, if I remember right. And so I wrote this just recently, within the last couple of weeks, and it's a different tack for me, because it's the same thing, human condition, but it's different. I'm gonna bounce it out there. Oh, God, I'm glad they had this forum. And I call it reincarnation, as we all know as writers. I call it reincarnation for lack of a better title. They were gay, but not in a joy-filled way. And as night dawned, they died that day. Their bodies mutilated, orifices stuffed by redneck bullies playing tough. When their time came, one by one, before heaven's gates arrived Jesus' sons. Took 2 lives, claimed the big book, as the redneck's head only shook. Queers, faggots, nothing lost there. Actually saved others from AIDS' deadly fear. Smiled Peter in a saintly way, your passage into heaven assured, but only after a short delay. A short delay, the redneck mused, what the hell, I've nothing to lose. Right you are, Peter agreed. Heaven is yours upon your return. Return from where? Is it far away? Peter smiled and was heard to say, return from earth from whence you came, but gay you'll be during this stay, and gay not in a joy-filled way.
Well, let's see, from there I can go in many directions. I have some of my daughter's poems with me because I thought I'd need some help, since, as I say, I don't normally write poetry, but I have some things that I wrote about, this is about someone in my family. It's called The Travelers. He walks slowly, each step firmly placed, flat like his old man's. The air dry, Frank wets his lip and stops. The Atlantic, blue today, pounds, eroding walls, the wind gushing in and out. I'm home in Ann Arbor reading Ulysses out loud. I see Frank out there, tightening a neck scarf, bracing for a storm. I remember, wild and windy night, tropical breeze sweeps through my room, a salty ghost. I hear my night noises, but they are shrill, frightening me. That's all I really know. Years of lame explanation turned a necessary truth too bad it doesn't hold together. Mother was an alcoholic, not mine, just his. Frankie was a half-brother who thought he was a half-person. Used to be he'd tease us, but never make us cry. At night, asleep, adventure slipped into his soul. Out came the screen, through the window he'd go. One night, he never came back. I never followed. I think about Danger, the family dog. When I was grown and away, I grew to miss him less and less, and as his life grew shorter, the less I felt the pain of his death. But what a thing to do to my brother. He left home embittered, and we were all too proud. Too bad, it's too late. February in Cincinnati, and I knew it was too late, but the phone rang anyway, haunting possibilities. The receiver muffled by a brute's meaty palm, I couldn't hear the words. When Frankie left, I thought I'd meet him again. I waited for him to slow down, step aside, and show me the way to a dream. Aunt Betty died a time ago, alone and childless, with her husband in St. Pete. I knew her in Long Island. We lived up the street. One summer, Frankie with us, I'd just turned 12. Dressed to swim, Frank stood aghast at the bathroom door. I screamed, pulling up the towel. He said, "I'm sorry, excuse me." But he stared. "My God, you're a woman." He left and closed the door behind him. I looked at myself, finally, not ashamed, and must have told Aunt Betty. She snuck me from my mother. We bought an appropriate suit, orangey red with little white splotches of free-form design and cups for my breasts. Curved in at the waist, I thought myself a beauty. 20 years later, Frankie told his friends, taking one last shot, a flight south to make my fortune, to make the fortune. Getting too old, too sick, too tired. Too much whiskey, I suppose. But this time I'll make it, and then go see my dad. Instead, died the pilot of a small plane, in a blaze of tropical sin. At daybreak, the beach, no sister, only sorrow and Bahamian trees.
Talking of location and landscape, I came to Montana as an alien, and Dennis and Claire came too. We used to take what we called mental health days, trying to get used to some of these things. We went one day to Sealy Lake, and we heard this tremendous noise, and I jumped and said, "What in the world is that?" And they told me it was the ice. Being from Texas, I'd never heard ice like that, so this poem came of that. It's called Sure Doubts in Night Country. We used to lie in bed beneath layers of smooth wool blankets, listen to the lake ice twist its own gristle in tones not ever meant for human ears. You'd recite the litany of that night: fractal, frazzle, skim, and skellish ice. I had no idea. A pop crisp our dark with phosphorescent force, surely killing whatever swam beneath it. Dirt and sky are my native elements. Occasionally, the cleansing fire sweeping the prairie clean of creosote, yucca blackened by drought, mesquite, whose stunted beans did little more than rattle, their dry death a herald of our wet season, the one we kept no faith with. Water will always be an alien element for me, and we come from wherever we left last. Does this naming of things hold them close enough they'll stay until we learn how to earn whatever it is they know? I can't say. The separate ice floes did their own damage to themselves. Next morning, the sky sank back into its flat winter light. My back teeth ached. From grinding all night, you said, a porcelain scritch that kept you awake. So I should not have been surprised to find you gone the morning after the Chinook set the ice booming, your side of the sheets cold. I rolled over to trace the round oval of heads oiled onto the wallpaper. What's the sound of one-hearted terror? Doubts, maybe, made sure in that night country.
I got a poem about another sort of Wisconsin poem about expectations and having those expectations much later, not fully realized, I guess, in a way. This is an answer to all the other sentimental poems I have about my grandparents. It's called Cat Disease. Grandma kept a squall of barn cats. Half wild matted scratchers, she gave fresh milk and table scraps for gnawing down the barn mice. And every spring bought dozens of kittens, fuzzy and lots of fun when they got old enough to leave their burlap nests in the back of the barn. But we knew enough not to get too attached, because all but a couple were sure to fall victim to the cat disease. It tore through the farm, a mystery plague that claimed the lives of countless innocent newborns. Grandma agreed it sure was a shame. Sometimes God has a plan we just can't understand, she said, flowered scarf tied beneath her chin, standing in the back of the garden near the blackberry bushes with the shovel, the bucket of water, the dark and sodden burlap sack. And it was years later before I figured out what the hell was going on. I mean, it's silly, you know, you don't expect these things from your grandmas, but there they are.
Following on that.
More dead animals?
It's more dead animals. And this too is centered in the Midwest from an occasion when I was a younger woman and living out in the country on a small farm. And the poem actually came out of a series of challenge poems that we've been sort of setting each other on. We come up with a title. It's usually Mary and Dennis and myself and maybe a few other people will have a title in it and sort of challenge each other to do this poem. And this particular title was Red Meat on Fire, a Full Moon. And I started writing it, and it was a memory that I had forgotten until I did this poem. And suddenly it became In Pewaukee, Red Meat on Fire, a Full Moon. There's no way to see this thing other than running into the dark, with no more guide than smoke and heat, curling the grasses, the air stretched tight as your eardrum, someone singing as if this were their own front porch burning. The fire engines idle on the gravel road while the fire becomes the barn peaks leaping, loft spilling a river of noise. You risk everything to stand under the flue of smoke fuming across the moon, and mice flower around you into tiny fiery comets hurtling into the dark, and your hair smells like tinder, but still you stay to see the fire fall to coals, cows glowing in the stanchions.
Well, Kev.
We've got drowning cats and burning cows now.
Well, I got one of mine. What provoked this poem that I'm going to read, there's a river that's kind of, I guess, in a way it's kind of sacred to me. It's the Jocko. That's where I caught my first fish, and I haven't caught a fish since then. But anyhow, and my stepfather and I would go there, and it was kind of a male bonding thing. And the title of this poem is Something Like Blood. The day begins, and it's too nice for words. My mother touched my hand. If I had a lover, she'd be here. I think the fish are calling, but it's the wind not whispering through trees, but across the neck of a bloated horse, tangled in stray barbed wire. Willows grab my line and send the message, I was never wanted here. I was told one time my father could whip the life back into rocks. I kiss the horse and cry. The other bank is posted with bottles I never left but want to. The sun sets like a welt across the ass, something like blood, and if I had a lover, she'd leave me. I tell myself I will act man enough for mother to kiss me when I come home with nothing but my hands.
Beauty.
I don't know where to go. We've got animals fighting the big ones. I'll indulge you, or I ask you to indulge me, I guess. I'll go out to the universe. This came about a number of years ago. It came about as a short story, and after the first draft, the lumber mills had to work overtime, the paper I was going through, and I finally reduced it down to this. And it was very complex, and this might be complex, but I happen to appreciate this one because I wrote it, I guess. It's called The Trial of Planet Earth. I had a scene set up where we were having a universal tribunal against planet Earth. Not the inhabitants, the planet itself. Final arguments. The prosecution. Since long before time, peace reigned supreme, and long after Earth, those conditions will remain. You, the jury, decide. Shall Earth be or ostracized? Universal law allows each star to shine, living and learning, accepting peace in time. And hard did Earth toil in the beginning back then, creating great mountains and forests, oceans and streams, and animals, heavenly beasts, all working in unison, all serving peace. But ever ambitious, advancing to shine, to better serve peace, Earth created mankind, to greater serve peace, and even more, to travel beyond limits never envisioned before, living in peace for eternity. Members of the jury, we agreed to create a great star, Earth our tribute then, to shine brightest in peace forevermore. Yet the evidence is overwhelming, like none before. Mankind is Earth's creature who created war. In the cosmos, war does not exist, nor fear or hate. No, universal peace, our only mandate. Now in your hands lay our universal plea. Now is the time to bring harmony. The defense. Members of the jury, I am earth to see, no peers do sit in judgment of me. Peace my cause, never once without, so great my love, I must prove no doubt. Man I created to do as he pleased, to explore my being, my treasures, and more, to feel emotions never experienced before. Yes, even allowing the existence of war. For earth to shine brightest and the heavens to see, I had to create humanity. To see and touch, to taste and smell, to feel and hear, to love and rebel. I agree, as time goes on, conditions seem worse. Some actions of man can't be put to verse. Yet, mankind is my crowning glory. And the time is soon coming, it is close at hand, when peace will be accepted in the hearts of man. Excuse me. And then you will see how bright earth shines, with peace first and always on mankind's mind. The verdict. Members of the jury, have you reached your verdict? Geez, I'd make a lousy judge. We have. Also you find. Guilty is charged, but with reasons we trust, for never before have we yearned so much. Let peace reign supreme. The sentencing. Earth's wisdom has truly shown the perfect example of the creation of man, as the absence of peace not ever known. The time has come, earth, it is at hand. Deliver peace to the service of man. This is the law, and you have no voice. Or either way. Serving peace is your only choice. Bring all that you are to live in peace, or stand alone, and understand your total destruction by the hand of man. And still, peace will reign supreme. I always got a kick out of that one. Thank you.
See, well, I have something about, this is a story about a dog. It's not a poem, it's a story. It's called Poison. When I was a little child, I didn't know about hating. I wanted mostly to be outside alone, or almost alone, more than anything. The wind cold drying my hair as I ran with wet bathing suit on through Llewellyn Gear's woods, or as rain spilled and collected in my shoulder muscles when my arms pulled boat oars, racing me home through the downpour. I was always in some kind of hurry. I'd forget my towel or goggles or snorkel or some new contraption my brother had cajoled my dad into buying for us. Luella, or a fashionable friend of hers, would call after me as I ran from her pool toward the big lake to row home in my pint-sized boat, or else I'd take off on foot straight through the neighborhood woods. "Sweetheart, you forgot your inner tube," someone would yell, and I'd come back slapping my still wet feet darkening the marble patio, my body shivering, lips blue as ink. Then I'd disappear, a little hero, back into my wonderland of childhood, the pool guests clinking their glasses in celebration. If I was on foot, I would hear Luella's Great Dane charging through a thicket nearby, making himself invisible. Duke would set his pace with me, though, trotting nearby but still at a distance until he knew I wouldn't fear his approach. Then, out of nowhere, he'd glide in next to me, my fastest speed miraculously in stride with his easy lobes, through the wide oaks and the tall pines until finally we were surrounded by peeling white birches, and under our feet, silky little whips slowing us down, thick grass growing by the sun's sparkling lights falling through the skinny trees. A green bed too tempting to pass up. We'd slide into it. I could have stared at the sun forever through those delicate leaves spinning on quiet breezes. This was my magic resting spot. The big dog was my only guest in the imaginary outdoor kingdom. He was my horse and my hero. Instinctively, he never drew closer than a foot of me. I believe he knew I might scream a little if he did. He was so big. I don't even remember petting him. But I talked to Duke a lot, and he always listened attentively, his eyebrows squished together pensively, his pointy ears twitching at the appropriate note in my voice. I can still hear his sound as his big paws beat the footpath floor my father cleared every spring for Luella and us. I remember the dog's breath steaming with every lunge forward. I learned about hating from new neighbors who moved into tiny apartment homes nearby. They were afraid of Duke. When I was 7, they poisoned the dog. Evil witches. For a while, all that I loved about living evaporated into the smoke of fall leaves burning. I couldn't wait to move away.
I think I'll take you all from the United States across the Atlantic to a country that no longer exists. Czechoslovakia had what was called in the press a velvet divorce in 1993. When I was there, the velvet was rather rough, but it was still one country, and I was definitely in a place out of time. I'd gone back in time about 30 or 40 years, and this is part of the experience of that particular time. Even going to the grocery store was challenging, as you'll see. So this is from a manuscript in progress. Czechoslovakia in 1990 was shaking itself awake from a long, bad dream made of neo-Stalinism at its worst and an indifferent but highly institutionalized and effective communist bureaucracy at its least. Equality between the sexes had no place in that world, a world whose social conventions had frozen somewhere in the early to maybe mid-60s. Unmarried women were supposed to be comforted by the thought that if they were young enough, there would still be time to catch themselves a man and settle into a normal life. Men thought nothing of leering at attractive women in public, and my roommate, Karina, is and was a striking young woman. Everywhere I went with her, she was hissed at or commented on loudly enough we heard each word. Not that I ever understood exactly what was said, but I didn't need a literal translation of those comments. The tone of the men's voices said everything I needed to know. Karina, who was on her second passport by then and only 23, didn't slow down. She looked right through those men and kept walking wherever we were headed. I didn't have that problem. With my light brown hair, wide cheekbones, and thin lips, short, I looked Czech as long as I kept my mouth shut. I remembered not to look or smile at people in public. Remembered to wear plain clothing, even though good cotton clothes attracted the attention of the gypsy money changers working in Václavské náměstí, Wenceslas Square, where I went every day to buy English language papers. Without Karina to attract attention, I went unnoticed most everywhere in Prague, which made my year in Prague one long private moment, something I hadn't realized until recently. I didn't ever retain enough of the complicated linguistic structure of Czech to do more than make my most basic needs understandable. And my Texas accent, however slight to my own ears, especially after having to speak English ever so slowly, saying each syllable clearly for those Czechs who did speak English or were trying to learn how to do so, that mangled horribly my few attempts at an entire Czech sentence, or anything beyond the stock phrases needed to buy groceries or ask directions. So I spent most of my year perpetually lost if I got off my beaten tracks around Prague. Being set down in a city built and rebuilt on itself, my sense of direction was permanently skewed. Without the sun in the sky, I couldn't tell east from west, and it was a good month before the sun broke through to shine for more than a few hours. Then it settled down into the quick, deep dusks of winter at so north a latitude. I found myself dislocated in every essential way, and that in turn provoked a profound dis-ease, a sensation so physical it could and did double me over in the bends occasionally. And that alarmed Karina the first time I came to a dead halt on one of our hikes through the city for one thing or another. I'm inclined to gawk, most times in sheer wonder at what I'm looking at, a good deal of the time in a futile effort to get my mental or physical balance. In that, I suppose my Czech blood shows. I went out to watch a softball practice announced in a poster put up at the school where I taught. High above the city on the Letna Plain, on a soccer field paced off for the Czech idea of a baseball diamond, I watched the kids fanned out in all the correct positions. But none of them moved right. Even the true athletes jerked, trying to bend and scoop a ball up and then throw it with the natural motion that starts with your weight shifting from one foot to the other, that contraction turning your shoulder. and that in turn provides the snapping force to fire the ball out and cut a runner running down the baseline. Even the better athletes, male and female, threw the ball from their elbows, snapping a wrist at best. And while some could fake a fluid swing at the dingy pitches that hung fatly in the air, none of them hit through the ball with their bodies fully engaged. Baseball is foreign to Czechs and Slovaks in a way that tennis and basketball are not. With baseball, they're trying to imitate the shadows of motions they've mostly dreamed, not actually seen. I got to where I craved the grace of unconscious gesture as badly as I craved the sight of just one well-dressed person. And as I supposed anyone who's been suddenly uprooted and marooned in a foreign culture will tell you, it's the details that make you crazy. I spent a good part of that first 3 months of my year in Prague accommodating myself to their culture. I learned you do not simply walk into the local potraviny, the foodstuff store, where you buy mostly canned goods, bread, milk, and plastic bags that resemble nothing so much as the thick plastic bags blood is stored in, a lovely metaphor in itself. Sometimes eggs and meat, mostly cold cuts, and then there are those brick-hard frozen chicken carcasses. No, you go in, look around for a small, almost child-sized wire shopping cart. If you're lucky enough to find a free cart, you may then wheel it through the turnstile gate and shop, picking out cans that have no photos on them, like the generic cans in our stores. So I took my lexicon with me to the grocery store for the first month, looking up words to the grim delight of my fellow shoppers, and picked up paper packets of spices, fresh bread, which was unwrapped, uncut, great broad loaves of dark rye-tasting bread, one of the main staples of the Czech diet, or the small rolls of white bread, the occasional more expensive baguettes. And if you want to invest in the purchase of an entire chicken carcass for your Sunday afternoon dinner, you wheel your wire basket to the white, waist-high open freezer. But bend over first. Take a deep breath to make sure the refrigeration unit is in good working order. Then choose the stone-hard carcass of your preference, which has no price marked on it. Once you've made your selection, you join the line of your fellow shoppers who have their carts lined up before the glass deli case that holds strings of various sausages, rolls of processed meat products, picturesque head cheese, white and yellow cheeses. Park your cart in the prescribed manner, as close to your predecessor as possible, usually side by side as the aisles are narrow, and wait until it's your turn to be served. The girl, and it's always a woman behind those counters, will look in your general direction, over one of your shoulders, the top of your head, right between your eyes, but not at you, never at you. She'll say, "Prosím," meaning everything from please to thank you. Okay, it's your turn. Well, what do you want? You hand her your prized chicken carcass. She takes it, puts it on a thin sheet of wax paper, reads the scale, which is carefully set on the counter so you can read along with her, figures the weight, tots up the price, which she marks on the opaque paper that she uses to wrap the already plastic-wrapped carcass, the price plainly displayed in that indelible black grease pencil that you get all over your hands. She'll ask you, "Prosím," one more time to see if you want anything else from behind her meat case. You say, or try to say, "Děkuji," in my Texas accent. I got frowned at for a couple of months, then barely smiled at for persisting in my effort to say thank you in Czech, something most Czechs rarely bothered with in their commercial transactions. Then you wheel your cart with your foodstuffs to the line of other carts, waiting in another line at the checkout counters, each of which have a woman in a white lab-looking polyester coat who works the electric registers. And you had better have brought along a bag of one sort or another to gather up the items that the checker rams down the aluminum chute for you to collect, arrange in your bag, and carry home. Chances are, once that's going on, you would push your cart through to the first person in the other line that had formed behind the register, often longer than the line moving through the checkout, waiting for a wire cart so they can get in to the shopping floor and buy what they needed. Get caught without a cart, and you get thrown out of the store. Control, as I said. Power, in a word. Disconcerting. reinforcing the dislocation that sometimes made me physically dizzy or ill with panic. Standing in those lines, waiting, could unnerve me. Not that I'm giving to vapors or anything like that. Standing on line, as Easterners say, is closer to what I'm trying to get at. You stake out your space and you defend it with your bodily presence. I spent a good deal of that time watching, taking mental notes. When I first got to Prague, I thought nothing of pulling a small notebook out to write down what I saw. I have a wretched memory, so I write down what I see, smell, hear, whatever. I quit doing that when I realized it made the Czechs I was quietly watching nervous at best, angry at worst. For 40 years, they'd lived under the constant and real threat of secret police informers in their places of work, in the pubs, the cafes, any public, and sometimes a good many private places. And there I was in my monochromatic good cotton clothing, watching them at their normally unremarkable, ordinary moments. What in hell did I find so interesting that I had to write it down? What had they just said that caught my attention? Obviously nothing for me, since I could hardly make out one word of Czech from another. So I stopped taking notes in public, but I still watched. And I got better at the quick glance. Sometimes a snapshot got from the side glances that took in my neighbors walking past me in the plate glass windows. I'd tick off how many bags hung from their hands, anything from the regulation woman's purse to a man's briefcase or book bag of a thing, along with the plastic sack that advertised everything from American cigarettes to German cameras to Japanese goods to Czech sporting events, football teams, etc., etc. In that plastic sack, most citizens carried home their purchases or whatever fresh vegetables they could find that day from street vendors set up near the tram stops or in the city center on Havelska Street or at the bottom of Václavský náměstí. Maybe a piece of red meat or a round rump of pork bought after standing on line in the meat shop. Maybe a runty head of lettuce, along with a long green stalk of purple-headed garlic, bought after standing on another line in the Ovoci Selenina, the fruit and vegetable stores. Shopping is a demanding and a physical sport in Czechoslovakia. And like American football, there are long moments of standing around, waiting for your chance to make your play in that game.
How far along you gotten with that?
Oh, a lot. It keeps growing, and we hope it will come to a satisfying conclusion soon. It was an interesting year, and you are definitely a foreigner, and most foreigners do not try to learn how to speak Czech, and they complain constantly. But the Czechs are learning. They've got 2 McDonald's in Prague now, so progress is on its way, for better or for worse.
Well, staying with the theme of
Frog.
of places that start with a P. Damn, I don't even have that segue in here. No, people, Picorni is in here. Actually, I just want to read this poem. It's called Abandon, and it celebrates recklessness, I guess. And I believe in finding ways to have some controlled abandon in your life so that you stay alive, but still making things interesting. Anyway, this was north central Wisconsin, where I went as a teenager to do things I couldn't do around home, including this. Abandon. Pelted with 40-mile-an-hour gravel, the glaciers hauled for punishment. I skid down the dirt road in Wild Rose, Wisconsin, on a red plastic saucer with 10 feet of bad rope between me and the bumper of Jerome Picorni's Pontiac, oven mitts for safety gloves, my helmet a paper bag, squeezing a towel around my adolescent forehead, dipping a shoulder to scuff off the ruts, a telescoped blur of dirt and chrome, and then the blistered sled melting against my butt. The road a funnel fenced by pines. Jerome slows for the final turn and I tuck a shoulder, duck my chin and go for the roll. The blind headlong tumble toward some indefinite mix of physics and luck, whatever's at the end of a boyhood, waiting for me in the dust. You kids at home, don't try
Don't do
this.
that.
These were registered crazy people who were doing these things. I don't recommend it, but find a good, soft, sandy gravel road if you're going to.
I confess I've never ridden behind a car on a plastic sled. But if you're talking about abandoned and nasty things, this came out of an exercise in a prosody class in which you had to repeat a specific line, and so I stretched a little bit, and the line I was working was, "It's something nasty," and it's been a little modified since then, but the poem is called Nasty. "It's something nasty," the man said, elbows cocked like wings at the bar and his head ringed with smoke and talk and earnest looks, as he holds out cupped hands, urging you to behold what you've only imagined. Something nasty, like the lake you swam as a child, paddling the bright surface, the black beneath, stretching farther than your arms could reach, but close as the leech snug to your groin, sipping unfelt among your first hairs. Something nasty you whispered to your pillow, trying it out for the first time in the dark, eyes shut against what you do to yourself. Or unexpected, in the morning sunlight across the table from your own children, their faces grown feral in the night. Something nasty left in the last pew of the corner Presbyterian church with its stainless windows and carpeted aisles. Your father, old, fumbling in his pockets in the dark in the pilled lint. Something nasty, on the side of the road lit by colliding lights and you slow down to see. Something nasty like the young girl off medication, riding the elevator, dress hiked up, hands dipped low and touching herself in the unabashed relief of fluorescent daylight while you watch and hope your floor won't come. And so you lean close to the man in the bar, his hands a chalice, knowing precisely that what you want more than anything is something nasty that no one else can see. Yes, that puts you in a spot, doesn't it?